At first automobile works, Hongqi, or red flag high-end sedans, are rolling off the production line. Both the sedan and the factory are the pride and symbol of China's early industrial endeavors. Founded in 1953 in Changchun, capital of northeast China's Jilin province, First Automobile Works, or FAW, was part of the first five-year plan, which set ambitious goals for industries and areas of production deemed priority by the country. 92-year-old Liu Jingchuan is the company's former chief designer.
这个汽车厂在建设之中，还没有正规的住的地方。那么烧火墙、烧火炉，就是这么样的一个的。地面呢都是土的，就是没有地板。我们的这个行李啊，放在地上都不行，就是这个地上啊都发霉呀。
It was under these harsh conditions that the pioneers laid the foundation for China's industrial modernization. A foundation that had to be built almost from scratch when the country couldn't even produce the simplest of machines. To produce China's first automobile, more than 2,000 parts had to be made by hand.
1956年7月13日，汽车厂建厂3周年的前2天，第一辆汽车诞生了。
For the past 100, 200 years, China was largely falling behind. There's many more reasons. There's a feudalist society. There's imperial invasion. China was a war zone as a major front of the Second World War, and so all those factors contributed the backwardness.
The first industrial revolution, centered largely in England, was based on steam engines, which for the first time dramatically increased the capacity to do work. The second industrial revolution focused on mass production manufacturing, along with the electricity that powered it. At the time, China was an imperial dynasty that excluded itself from the world and thus missed both the first and second industrial revolutions entirely.
Making China's first vehicle, a heavy-duty truck, was a huge milestone. But FAW's aspirations didn't stop there. Their next big project, creating the country's own high-end passenger car.
81我们做成了这个轿车，记得好像是29台。到了11的时候，装上火车运向北京，向北京天安门献礼。
FAW's story was just one of the many challenges and triumphs during the first five-year plan period. From 1953 to 1957, China also established its first heavy steel rolling mill, aircraft manufacturer, and a machine tool factory. All helped to lay a solid foundation for industrial modernization.
And now the task of the newly founded government is to, first of all, restore all those damaged and or destroyed during those wars. But the second is to build new infrastructure projects, carry out the land reform, also greatly map out a plan for China to get into a more stable but also quick development.
The factory floor of today's FAW, filled with AI-controlled industrial robots and unmanned vehicles, looks unrecognizable from its early years. In the meantime, China has risen to become the world's largest manufacturer of vehicles, producing over 26 million cars in 2021, more than a quarter of the world's total production. Perhaps a fitting metaphor for China now and in history.
Chinese people have been so eager to build and enjoy modernization ever since China was under invasion, exploitation, and suppression by the imperialist powers in the second half of 19th century and the first half of 20th century. And also the sharp contrast between the West imperialist powers and China in terms of economic growth and social development left a strong impression to Chinese people. Therefore, they really wanted to rejuvenate and to re-strengthen the Chinese civilization and nation.
In 1954, 5 years after the founding of New China, the central government for the first time proposed a goal of achieving modernization in industry, agriculture, transportation, and national defense to meet the Chinese people's aspirations for modernization.